Hey man, nice to see you.
Nice to meet you. I've watched your documentary, and I was so excited to meet you, and just being able to have you on is such an honor, man. It's real. I'm really really excited about this.
Me too. Thank you.
Well, I'm just gonna get right into it. Like, what happened to you?
It's hard to encapsulate a soundbite of, you know, how your life gets just redirected 180 in a heartbeat. And yet, I was wrapping up a 10-year career as a yacht chef, kind of through my 20s. And I was coming back home here to Montana, Southwest Montana, to to sort of build out the second phase of my career, if you will, from private chefing to how do I take my love of food, my love of the story behind food, and how do I share that? And I was coming home and I was working on a food company, an organic food brand called Montana Mex, and that was going to be my kind of platform of kind of still remaining in the food space, but connecting with more people at once. And so I come home, and I mean, I haven't spent a summer in Montana in 10 years at this point, because usually in the summertime, you're over in the Mediterranean and you're working your tail off. I take a day to go elk hunting. I'm an avid outdoorsman, and much of my pantry is either foraged, gardened, or hunted. Um, and I came across a metal can in the woods, about 3 miles from where I parked my truck. And for anyone listening, imagine a metal can that you could wrap your hand around, your arms around like this, and maybe it was 2 feet deep, and it was just in the middle of nowhere, covered with grass.
Just sticking out of the ground, right?
Yeah, and again, I'm putting this perspective because so many of your listeners are coming from all over the place, and so when you're hiking in the Rocky Mountain West, there's such a legacy of mining and homestead culture. Our woods are littered with all these mementos of the past. So I see a can, and I think nothing of it other than it's detritus, trash, and I walk past it, and I see, Maddie, you took this mop of head I got, and you took a pile of black fur and you put it in the can, and you could see a little bit of bleach white bone and claw. I'm thinking I'm gonna take a claw off. I'm gonna keep rolling up the hill because I'm on a mission. And I take a knife off my right hip and I put it like off this holster. I put it in my left hand, and I just kind of lean in to take that claw off.
Well, what kind of animal was it?
I thought it was a baby black bear is
Okay.
what I think it was. And of course, further diagnosis after the fact is came back, yes, it was a baby black bear. But I was going to take a claw and be out of there on my way. Like, it's almost like picking up a bottle cap on a sidewalk. That easy. It was like, and I got to within 12 inches of the base of that can, and it was like, the high frequency sound at a concert, at a test check, at the 1 p.m. all afternoon. If you live near a stadium and you hear like that, they're getting their wires ready and stuff. And it was like that. It was like a Yes concert in my head went off, just pure frequency sound. And then it was as if someone had a blow dryer on at 10 on the back of my head, just this immense wave of heat. And just black curtain. It arced from the base of that can into the knife, and then exited out of my torso, 2 parts of my head, my limbs. So I had 9 exit wounds.
And did that knock you out? Like, were you out cold then, or do you know?
There's no, I would do anything to have like an eye on the wall, to know what happened. I remember that's the last thing I felt. And then my eyes opened up and I saw blue sky, popcorny clouds scuttling past treetops. And I remember thinking to myself, why in the heck am I laying on my back? But I remember recognizing that's blue sky, that's treetops, so I was connected enough with being on Earth, I guess. And I convinced myself. I remember saying, get to your knees, get to your knees. And then I remember saying, stand up. And I remember it being incredibly challenging. I'm talking not hard, not what we think hard is. I'm talking weight of the world on your back, do a push-up, challenging, right?
Got it. Yeah.
And then again, blackout. I don't have any conscious recollection after the moment of telling myself to stand up or get up. And then the next memory I have of this moment was the sound of gravel under my feet. And then my vision, it almost came back like a psychedelic trip. Like then my vision kind of came back, and I remember seeing the river, the Yellowstone River, down in the valley below me. And I heard a bird whistle. The Montana state bird is a western meadowlark, and it has a super distinct call, like a like that, and it like flew in front of me, and it was like that was like my sniff of coffee. You know, I was like, whoa, what am I doing? And that was my entrance back to reality of walking down this road. And I remember my left hand was curled up against my body. I remember seeing that. It was super black, burnt. There was parts where the flesh was burnt off all the way to the bone. And I remember thinking, my hand is burnt. I'm hiking in this place. I got, like I said, okay, I'm in this area. Oh, I went hiking this. I was hunting this morning. So I started piecing it all back together, right? And then it just hit me. It was like, you saw that thing in the can. You went to try and you heard that frequency, and then did you get electrocuted? You know, so it's like boom, and then it was just unmistakable. That was what happened, and it came to me. You got electrocuted. You are walking to save your life.
How far away were you?
The site itself is around 3 miles from the trailhead, as the crow flies, direct. And I remember walking down that road and thinking the fastest way to get to help is just to go straight, like cut traffic, cross town, kind of, you know, straight, versus the road, which was winding all the way down this mountainside. And the loudest time in my life, that little bird on your shoulder or whatnot said, if you deviate off of this road, the potential of you tripping on a root, on a bush, on a branch, on a rock, and falling is super high on any day, on a normal day.
Yeah.
And if you do so, you're not getting up again. And so it was like, all right, I hear you. I got to go straight. So it was like such a beautiful metaphor and such a effed up moment of, do not go the faster route. Do not go the most immediate. This is not a quick thing. Put the time in, walk the longer journey, stay safe, and just make it to the bottom. That's the goal. Not fast, it's steady. And I just started chanting this mantra, which became just like, do not stop walking, don't stop walking, don't stop walking.
When you finally got back to people, who was the first person who found you? Did you make it home? Was it a neighbor? Was it somebody else in the community?
So it's a super rural area. I was about 30 miles from my home, and I just beelined it for cabins that I saw down on the river. And there was a gentleman working on his cabin, and he saw me from 50 yards out. And called 911 and, saved me.
Now, I saw your documentary. You seemed super positive. So I really want to get to what's in you that makes you that positive in a way that I could never be that positive. So we're going to do that right after we come back.